You know, it was a decision that the city was waiting for me to make. You know what I'm saying?
Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children.
Right.
Has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Did you ever think we'd be talking about the possibility that one of the biggest names in entertainment might be caught up in something far darker than his glamorous image suggests? Well, buckle up because the latest developments surrounding Sean Diddy Combs might make you rethink everything you thought you knew about the hip-hop mogul. We're talking about new evidence, reopened investigations, and chilling rumors about what really happened to Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of 3 of his children. The twist. The FBI has just reopened the investigation into her untimely passing, and the spotlight is squarely on Diddy himself.
You know what I'm saying? Just with this Cassie thing, I didn't know her, but I knew somebody like her, and that was Kim Porter. I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter.
Now, let's get into it because the details of this case are nothing short of shocking. Kim Porter's passing in 2018 was initially ruled to be due to natural causes. Pneumonia, they said. She had been dealing with flu-like symptoms for days before she was found unresponsive in her Los Angeles home. Sounds straightforward, right? But even back then, rumors were swirling that something wasn't quite right. The official story never sat well with some of Kim's closest friends and family who believed there was more to it. And as time went on, those whispers of suspicion have only gotten louder.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
Now imagine this. Fast forward to 2024 when Kim Porter's family, still unsatisfied with the initial investigation, decides to take matters into their own hands. They've been pushing for the case to be reopened for years, and finally, with new evidence coming to light, the FBI has agreed to take another look. The reopening of the case has sent shockwaves through the media, and here's why. This isn't just about looking back at an old case. It's about reevaluating the entire narrative around Diddy and the role he might have played in Kim's tragic end.
He broke Kim, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht. So Cassie's story is Kim's story. Cassie's book is Kim's book.
This fresh evidence has ignited a firestorm of renewed speculation, and it's looking like the investigation is turning its focus toward Diddy as a potential suspect. Yes, you heard that right. Diddy, the man who built a multi-million empire with his music, fashion, and TV ventures, is now under serious scrutiny. The question everyone's asking is, did Diddy have something to hide? And more importantly, what was Kim about to reveal before she was silenced for good? Let's back up for a second to explore why Kim Porter's case has so many people rethinking the official narrative. For starters, Kim wasn't just some background figure in Diddy's life. The two had an on-again, off-again relationship that spanned more than a decade, and despite their ups and downs, they remained close until her passing. They shared 3 children together, and Diddy even adopted Kim's son from her previous relationship. By all outward appearances, their relationship was one of love and respect, but as we now know, appearances can be deceiving.
The plaintiff. So basically what that means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st, right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. Mm-hmm. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to.
Reports suggest that before her passing, Kim was working on a memoir that, if published, would have contained explosive revelations about her life with Diddy. According to sources, this tell-all was set to expose some of Diddy's most closely guarded secrets that could have seriously tarnished his carefully crafted public persona. Now, imagine the potential fallout if those revelations had come to light. People are now wondering if this book could have been the reason behind her sudden demise. Was Kim silenced before she could blow the lid off of Diddy's dark side?
Diddy has been under criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York. And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been describing.
As these rumors have gained traction, others have come forward to speak out about the sinister nature of Kim's relationship with Diddy. One particularly vocal figure is Al B. Schur, the father of Kim's eldest son, Quincy. He has repeatedly questioned the circumstances of Kim's passing, insisting that there's no way she would have succumbed to something as simple as pneumonia without there being more to the story. Al B sure has even gone so far as to suggest that Kim's passing was part of a larger, more calculated plan.
Because Kim had took the cork, when you open up wine, the corkscrew. She took the corkscrew and caught him on his wrist defending himself. And he almost, I know he tore some ligament, but he almost hit an artery or came close to the artery or either scratched it or cut it a little bit because he just kept bleeding.
Then there's rapper Mark Curry, another former Bad Boy Records artist who has thrown his voice into the mix. Curry has publicly claimed that Kim was far from safe in her relationship with Diddy, describing instances of manipulation and control. According to Curry, Diddy wiretapped Kim's phone and kept a close eye on her every move, suggesting that he was paranoid about what she might reveal. Curry didn't hold back when describing the power dynamics at play, hinting that Diddy's behavior crossed over into dangerous territory. Now that we're seeing the case reopened, Curry's claims are suddenly starting to sound a lot less like far-fetched gossip and a lot more like clues to a bigger, darker puzzle.
And the only person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, it's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man.
And here's where things get even more twisted. Al B sure has gone on record multiple times calling for a full investigation into Kim's passing. He's pointed to the fact that, according to him, Kim had damaging information about Diddy that could have turned the industry on its head. This wasn't just your run-of-the-mill celebrity drama. If these rumors are to be believed, Kim had dirt that could have brought Diddy's empire crumbling down. And maybe that's why she's no longer here to tell her side of the story. The reopening of the case, driven by Kim's family, is all the more significant because it suggests that law enforcement has uncovered something that warrants another look. The FBI doesn't just revisit cases without good reason, and now people are asking, what is this new evidence that's come to light? Is it something related to Kim's mysterious memoir, or perhaps something even more damning?
Then you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht?
Wow, I ain't hear about that.
He broke him, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht. So Cassie's story is...
While Diddy has publicly maintained his innocence, his legal team has been hard at work trying to contain the fallout. His attorney has issued strong statements denying any involvement in Kim's passing, calling the allegations absurd and insisting that Diddy had nothing to hide. But the fact that this case is back in the headlines and with federal investigators involved raises the stakes to a whole new level. This isn't just about defending Diddy's reputation anymore. This is about defending his very freedom. What makes this situation even more intense is the growing realization that Kim Porter's case isn't just an isolated incident. It's part of a much bigger narrative involving Diddy's troubling history with women. We'll get into that later, but for now, it's enough to say that this investigation into Kim's passing has opened up a can of worms that's much harder to close than anyone anticipated.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
One thing that has really fueled the conspiracy theories surrounding Kim's passing is her final days. Some reports suggest that Kim had confided in close friends and family that she felt unsafe. She reportedly told them that she was afraid for her life and that someone close to her, possibly Diddy, was not happy about what she was planning to reveal. These reports have never been officially confirmed, but they add another layer of suspicion to an already murky case. Did Kim know something that could have put her in danger? Did she see her fate coming and try to warn the people closest to her? Adding to the mystery is the role of Kim's so-called lost words. A few months after her passing, a self-published book surfaced online, claiming to be based on a series of writings Kim had left behind. The book, titled Kim's Lost Words, was billed as a memoir that revealed the inner workings of her life with Diddy, complete with details about their troubled relationship. The book quickly shot to the top of Amazon's bestseller list, fueled by the public's curiosity about what Kim might have known.
Diddy is now being sued in addition to what we just talked about by Dawn Richards. You guys will remember her. She was a part of Making the Band.
Dirty Money.
Dirty Money, the Danny Kane era. So basically what she is alleging, she's alleging a lot of different things.
But here's the kicker. Diddy's team has called the book a complete fabrication, claiming that it has nothing to do with Kim and that it's a shameless attempt to profit off of her passing. They've demanded that the book be pulled from circulation, calling it disrespectful and fake. Still, the book's existence has only added fuel to the fire for conspiracy theorists who believe that the real reason Diddy is trying to suppress it is because it's based on actual events. Of course, the authenticity of Kim's lost words remains highly questionable, and to this day, no one has been able to prove that it was actually written by Kim. But the fact that such a book exists and that it contains such damning claims has kept the public interest in this case alive. And now, with the investigation reopened, those claims are once again being scrutinized.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do.
To top it all off, rumors have also surfaced that Kim was in possession of tapes and recordings that could implicate Diddy in a number of unsavory activities. These tapes, allegedly handed over to a celebrity source shortly before her passing, are said to contain evidence of everything from infidelity to manipulation and threats. While the existence of these tapes has never been confirmed, it's just one more piece of the puzzle that makes Kim's passing seem far less like an accident and far more like a planned event designed to protect someone's reputation.
From that point on, he was hooked. That's when I knew when they was talking about people getting addicted and hooked on pain medicines. That's what happened to him, and it was from his right wrist that he's reminded by Kim all the time now.
The longer the case remains unsolved, the more details like these continue to emerge, casting doubt on the official narrative. The public is left wondering, why did it take so long for the FBI to reopen the case? And what exactly did they find that was so compelling that it warranted a second investigation? Now, let's talk about some of the people who have kept Kim's story alive in the public eye, even as Diddy's team has worked overtime to keep the focus elsewhere. One name that keeps coming up is Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, who has been very vocal about what he witnessed during his time working for the music mogul. According to Deal, the relationship between Kim and Diddy was far from the picture-perfect romance it appeared to be in public. Deal has gone on record saying that he saw firsthand the volatile nature of their relationship, and that Kim was no stranger to defending herself against Diddy's outbursts.
And it's like, it was the same thing Kim was going through. The same thing, bro. Kim was going through the same thing. The beatings, you know what I'm saying?
One particularly shocking claim from Deal is that Kim once had to physically fend off Diddy during an altercation, reportedly using a corkscrew to slash his wrist in self-defense. According to Deal, this incident was so severe that Diddy had to rush to the hospital to get treatment, leaving him with a scar that he still bears to this day. If true, this paints a very different picture of their relationship than the one Diddy has publicly portrayed. It suggests that there may have been much more tension and violence behind closed doors than anyone realized. Deal isn't the only one speaking out. Mark Curry, another former Bad Boy artist, has also come forward with troubling stories about Diddy's behavior. Curry claims that Diddy was highly controlling and went to extreme lengths to keep tabs on Kim, even going so far as to wiretap her phone and monitor her conversations. According to Curry, Diddy was obsessed with maintaining control over Kim's life, especially as rumors of her upcoming memoir began to circulate. These kinds of allegations, while difficult to verify, add to the growing chorus of voices suggesting that Kim's passing may have been more than just an unfortunate event. It's clear that there were tensions in the relationship, and many people close to Kim have hinted that she was preparing to reveal some deeply damaging information about Diddy's personal life and business dealings. Could it be that she was silenced before she could speak out?
That's Kim's story. That's Kim's book. That's Kim's book. Then you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht?
Wow, I ain't hear about that.
What makes these claims even more chilling is the fact that they seem to align with a broader pattern of troubling behavior surrounding Diddy. As we'll explore in the next section, Kim Porter's case is just one part of a much larger story, a story that involves numerous allegations of abuse, manipulation, and worse. As more and more details come to light, it's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore the possibility that Diddy's carefully curated public image is hiding something far more sinister.
Do I think, yeah. Every man possibly is capable. I think he's very capable of doing it. It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, what makes him, power. That's just the selfishness that make you be like that.
The reopening of Kim's case has brought these old rumors back to the surface, and now the world is watching closely to see what new evidence might emerge. With the FBI involved, this is no longer just a matter of tabloid gossip. This is a full-blown investigation into one of the most high-profile figures in entertainment. And as the investigation deepens, the question on everyone's mind is simple. Will the truth finally come out? What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing is for sure. This story is far from over. The reopening of the case has raised serious questions about what really happened to Kim Porter, and the implications could be devastating for Diddy. As we transition into the wider allegations against him, it's clear that this investigation is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Stay tuned, because the next chapter of this story promises to be just as explosive. Now that the investigation into Kim Porter's tragic end has been reopened, the pressure on Scene Diddy Combs is mounting, and it's becoming clear that this is just the tip of the iceberg. As shocking as the details of Kim's case are, what's even more disturbing is how it fits into a much larger, more sinister pattern of behavior allegedly connected to Diddy. For years, the public only saw the glamorous, larger-than-life persona he projected. His massive success in the music industry, his flashy lifestyle, his status as a cultural icon. But now, a much darker side of the story is coming to light, and it's leading people to wonder, could Diddy be hiding something far more troubling than anyone ever imagined? The truth is, Kim Porter's case is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Over the years, Diddy has been surrounded by a growing number of disturbing allegations that paint a picture of a man who isn't just ruthless in business, but possibly dangerous in his personal life as well. The chilling part. These accusations go way beyond just rumors. They involve multiple lawsuits, former associates coming forward, and a troubling pattern of behavior that's been building for years. Let's start by zooming out a little and looking at some of the other legal battles Diddy has been involved in. You might remember that in November 2023, a lawsuit was filed by none other than Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, accusing him of physical and emotional mistreatment. Cassie's lawsuit sent shockwaves through the industry as she described years of suffering during their long-term relationship. What made her claims even more explosive were the specific details she shared, describing her life with Diddy as being filled with control, manipulation, and at times, violent behavior.
Bruh, when y'all look at this thing and saying force, y'all think this that he probably threatened to beat her, threatened to do something like that. That ain't what force is. It could come from the mentality. Yo, he put her in a certain position, in a certain situation, and a certain time in her life.
Cassie revealed that she had endured years of torment, allegedly at the hands of Diddy, and she didn't hold back. According to her, Diddy exerted an almost unimaginable level of control over her life, dictating everything from her personal choices to who she could interact with. The most disturbing part of her claims, Cassie recounted, how Diddy would arrange bizarre, humiliating scenarios that were designed to break her spirit. It wasn't long after the lawsuit was filed that the two reached a settlement, quietly, behind closed doors, raising even more eyebrows. Was this settlement just an attempt to make the accusations go away? But it didn't stop there. Cassie's case seemed to open the floodgates for more accusations to surface, with several other women coming forward to share their own stories about their experiences with Diddy. These allegations weren't just vague complaints. They were detailed, and many of the stories echoed the same themes of control, fear, and abusive behavior. With each new claim, the public's perception of Diddy shifted, and the questions surrounding his behavior became harder and harder to ignore.
There has been some updates in the Diddy $100 million default judgment that we reported on.
One of the most significant accusations came in February 2024 when a man named Rodney Jones, who had worked closely with Diddy, filed a federal lawsuit. Jones wasn't just a casual employee. He had worked as a producer on Diddy's album and lived with him from 2022 to 2023 to 2023. In his lawsuit, Jones claimed that during this time, he witnessed Diddy engaging in serious illegal activities. He described being pressured to procure people for Diddy and witnessing behavior that was not only inappropriate, but outright alarming. According to Jones, he wasn't just a bystander. He became part of the dark world that Diddy allegedly orchestrated behind the scenes. Jones detailed how Diddy would require him to document everything, filming disturbing moments that he was later forced to hand over. Jones's lawsuit also shed light on something else. Diddy's obsession with power and control wasn't limited to his romantic relationships. It extended to the people he worked with as well. Jones described a situation where he was constantly under pressure to cater to Diddy's whims, whether it was procuring people for his events or engaging in activities that blurred the lines of legality. Even more shocking were the claims that Diddy had tried to manipulate and intimidate Jones into silence using threats and pressure to keep him from speaking out. These claims align with the broader narrative that's starting to take shape, the idea that Diddy has operated for years with a level of impunity that's finally starting to catch up with him.
So what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
As more people like Jones and Cassie come forward, a disturbing picture begins to emerge. This isn't just a case of one or two isolated incidents. There appears to be a pattern, a trail of allegations that all point to the same central figure. For years, Diddy has been able to brush off these claims, using his vast resources and influence to keep the allegations at bay. But now, with the reopening of the investigation into Kim Porter's passing and the increasing number of lawsuits piling up, it seems like the walls might finally be closing in. What makes this situation even more alarming is the sheer number of people from Diddy's past who have come forward with their own stories. And it's not just former associates who have spoken up. There have also been high-profile incidents that further tarnished Diddy's reputation. One particularly shocking moment was when a video surfaced in May 2024 showing an incident involving Diddy and Cassie in a Los Angeles hotel from 2016. In the footage, Diddy is seen engaging in aggressive behavior toward Cassie in a hallway.
Combs is seen shoving, kicking, and dragging his then-girlfriend down the hallway. And now he's posted an apology on Instagram.
Although the video doesn't have audio, the visuals alone were enough to cause public outrage. In the clip, Diddy is seen approaching Cassie near an elevator, throwing her to the ground and kicking her. It was a brutal reminder that behind the glitz and glamour, there was something much darker at play.
So it's just another form to silence a man, to humble a person. You know how sometimes you got to humble somebody?
You're right.
Yeah, I think he's being humbled right now, which it took a long time. It takes a long time to humble an arrogant person.
Diddy's reaction to the video was telling. After months of denying the accusations, the release of the video forced him to issue a public apology, admitting that his behavior was inexcusable. He apologized, claiming that it was one of the lowest points in his life and that he had since sought therapy. But for many, the apology came too late. It felt like damage control, an attempt to salvage what was left of his public image. The incident only added fuel to the fire, raising further questions about what else Diddy had been hiding over the years. And it wasn't just Cassie and Kim Porter's cases that drew attention. As the years passed, more and more people began to share their own stories about their experiences with Diddy. In December 2023, another lawsuit was filed by a woman identified as Jane Doe, who claimed that she had been exploited and mistreated in 2003 when she was just 17 years old. According to the lawsuit, Diddy had convinced her to travel with him to New York, where she found herself trapped in a horrifying situation. Her account described a scenario that was eerily similar to the allegations brought forward by Cassie and others: manipulation, power dynamics, and Diddy using his influence to control those around him. This lawsuit added yet another layer to the growing list of accusations against Diddy, painting a picture of a man who not only wielded immense power, but also used it to exploit those around him. The similarities between the various lawsuits were hard to ignore. Each case involved allegations of control, intimidation, and people being pushed into situations they didn't feel comfortable in. For many, this raised the question, could these cases be part of a much bigger, more disturbing pattern of behavior that had gone unchecked for years?
And that was it. Be honest with it. And he can't be honest with it.
As these lawsuits began to pile up, Diddy's team fought hard to discredit the claims. His legal team issued statement after statement, calling the allegations baseless and accusing the plaintiffs of seeking a payout. But with each new case that came to light, it became harder for the public to ignore the possibility that there was some truth behind the rumors. Diddy's once flawless reputation was starting to crack, and the growing sense of unease surrounding him was impossible to shake.
So he put his hands on females, put his hands on producers, executives. That's just his. I guess that's what the whole name Bad Boy comes from. That people don't really understand. What is it? What is a bad boy? Why did he choose that name? He never really gave a clear definition of how he feels about that name. Not yet.
What makes the situation even more unsettling is how it connects back to Kim Porter's passing. Many of the allegations that have surfaced involve people who were part of Diddy's inner circle during the time Kim was in his life. People have pointed to the idea that Kim may have known more than she let on, that she had witnessed things that could have seriously damaged Diddy's reputation if they had ever come to light. Al B. Schur, who was close to Kim, has long hinted that her passing wasn't just a tragic event, but part of something far more sinister. He has publicly stated that Kim knew things that could have exposed Diddy, and he's been pushing for answers ever since. Al B. Schur isn't alone in his suspicions. As the case into Kim's passing has been reopened, more people have started to question the official narrative. Some have pointed out inconsistencies in the initial investigation, while others have suggested that certain details were deliberately overlooked. It's clear that there's more to this story than meets the eye, and the fact that the FBI has decided to take another look at the case speaks volumes. As this shocking case continues to unfold, we can't help but wonder, is this just the beginning of a much deeper investigation into one of the biggest names in entertainment? Could Kim Porter's untimely passing reveal more than we ever expected about Diddy's private life? Now it's your turn. Do you think the reopened investigation will finally uncover the truth? Or is this just another high-profile scandal that will eventually fade away? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Until next time,